Welcome, this is our Tuesday, March 1, 2016 edition of the Government News Brief. In the news, sugar industry again affected by strike, monitoring for Zika continues, late requisition for drugs is responsible for shortage at healthcare facilities, and prison service to resuscitate its agricultural program. With these and other stories, I am Azim Khan. Thank you for staying with us. This is the Government News Brief. With the discovery of 5 new Zika cases in Guyana, the Ministry of Public Health continues to monitor the mosquito-borne virus. Public Health Minister Dr. George Norton says fogging continues across the country in addition to the distribution of chemically treated mosquito nets. The minister explained that one person has been sent for training at the Caribbean Public Health Agency in Trinidad and Tobago to operate the equipment already in place to test for vector-borne diseases. The Public Health Ministry is advising Guyanese to take precautionary measures to prevent the infection and the spread of Zika by the use of insect repellent and sleeping under mosquito nets. Screening of windows and doors and other openings can also aid in the reduction of mosquitoes. Another one-day strike was staged by sugar workers today. Gaisuco's Finance Director Paul Bim told the Government Information Agency that 1,700 workers took protest action. Bim said the impact of the strike will be known tomorrow. The first crop only recently commenced, and Gina reported yesterday that the corporation was on track with its production. The Guyana Agricultural and General Workers Union, GAWU, has called for a 24-hour strike every Tuesday to press for negotiations on wages, the annual production incentive, and the closure of the Wales estate. The corporation has already made clear its position on these matters in light of its financial situation, which it is working to reverse. Smith Creek Region 1 residents hear of government's education thrust. They are urged to keep their children in school. Here are the details.
Minister within the Ministry of Communities, Dawn Hastings Williams, on a recent outreach to Smith Creek and Moirwana villages, educated residents of the need for them to send their children to school.
We want children to have quality education. We want them to have trained teachers. We want them to have exercise books, textbooks. We want to give them at least one meal, if it's a breakfast or a lunch, a hot meal. So that children must be motivated to go. They must want to go to school. Because if you're hungry and you do not have, a good teacher, you don't have books, you don't want to go to school. But our government is pushing so that our schools can be equipped with materials, like I said, books, television, computers, so that our children could be able to move and to understand the world better around them.
Residents indicated that not having school uniforms translates to irregular attendance. However, they were notified that the material was already dispatched and should reach them in 2 weeks. Community Development Council Chairman Sherman Lewis told the minister of an initiative to have persons trained to sew the uniforms, after which they were advised on the process for payment.
There is a contract form that the ministry would send to you, and you fill that up and you sign it, and to show you will ensure that Mr. Ganis so all the uniform don't go because he need advance requesting for money and he hasn't sewn any uniform, because you will put yourself in trouble.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay? Yeah. Make sure the uniforms are sewn, the children have it and are delivered, and you request for your money for payment for sewing that uniform. So that's the way how it goes.
While in Moirwana, the minister interacted with residents and joint services personnel stationed there. Government News Brief, Glendon, Greenwich.
Single-parent women can access funding to support business ventures through the revived Women of Worth WOW program. Here are the details.
The sum of $40 million will be injected into the Women of Worth initiative, which allows single-parent women to access loans to start up business projects.
The government injected its own funds to get this program up and running, and we will continue to do this. In terms of how many persons will benefit, that is not a figure that we can realize now, because persons are coming to us and they're coming to us with different projects. It depends on the projects that they're coming to us with, and so it will vary from person to person. As At the end of this year, we will have some statistics so that we can work with, and then perhaps next year we'll be able to gauge how many persons we'll be able to help.
The ministry will be introducing the People of Worth Entrepreneur Resources Project, POWER, to allow for both male and females to get access to loans. The ministry is currently seeking funding to roll out this project. In 2015, the WOW program provided loans for over 90 single mothers through the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry (GBTI). When the government took office in May, it inherited a bankrupt program. From the $29.4 million in loans, nearly $22 million were non-performing.
Under the previous program, the seed money came from the bank. 7 to 6% of that portfolio was never honored, and so as a result, the bank lost on their investment. And so the ministry, the government, the present government, gladly injected several million dollars into this program. And as I've said before, we are going to continue this program because we understand its relevance and importance by injecting some $40 million in 2016.
Recognizing the importance of this program, government is now directly funding it. Mechanisms will be put in place through additional staffing and an ongoing monitoring and evaluation system to ensure that the project is properly managed. For the Government News Brief, Seneca Thorne reporting.
The Guyana Tourism Authority is collaborating with the Ministry of Education to train tour guides for Guyana's Golden Jubilee. Here is more in this report.
29 volunteers are currently on a 3-day training to become city tour guides. This is being done through the GTA in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. The participants are drawn from the ministry's volunteer program.
To train a batch of city tour guides, as I said, to prepare them to deal with the influx of visitors that we expect for the 50th, especially in May. We hope that the guides here will make it into a career, they will embrace what they would learn, and hopefully we will be able to add them into our database, so whenever the need arises, we can call on them.
Tour guiding is a necessary skill for the tourism industry, and Guyana has received very good reviews in this area. Facilitator of the training, Paul Waldron, says that basic tour guiding skills will be looked at over the next 3 days.
Training is necessary so that the services guides provide continues to be of an exceptional level, of an acceptable level. In doing that, it guarantees that the visitors would have an enhanced experience whilst in the country.
An expected outcome of the training is that volunteers will use the knowledge garnered as a stepping stone for career building. With this Government News Brief, I'm Shanaza Low reporting.
Late requisition for medical supplies could create shortages at some healthcare facilities, says Minister of Public Health Dr. George Norton. Here is that story.
Addressing the alleged medical supply shortage at healthcare facilities, Minister Norton said that there isn't a shortage as far as he knows, because supplies are available.
And when we look at the list of those medical supplies, there were an abundance of gloves, an abundance of needles, abundance of syringes, and abundance of so many medical supplies there that I am amazed that for some reason or the other, this is not being utilized.
During an interview with the Government Information Agency, the minister also pointed out that the ministry is paying for storage of these supplies.
We were told only recently that the Ministry of Public Health will have to pay new GPC for storage facility because they have a warehouse filled with medical supplies for the Ministry of Public Health.
Among the supplies stored at the warehouse is a large quantity of the supplies that are allegedly short at healthcare facilities, primarily at the New Amsterdam Hospital. For this Government News Brief, Shivani Rampasad reporting.
The Guyana Prison Service to return as the leading agriculture producer. Find out how in this report.
The Guyana Prison Service should be self-sufficient in its food production. This is one of the goals of its newly appointed Agricultural Development Board. The prison service was known for its agricultural production decades ago.
We used to have a direct involvement of the Ministry of Agriculture in a very aggressive way. The Ministry of Agriculture is involved now, but it needs to be more holistic. And at every location, we should have the participation of not only the Ministry of Agriculture, but others in the community that are skillful and that can help for the development of the Guyana Prison Service agricultural farms.
Members of the board recently visited the Mazaruni prison in Essequibo, where a number of recommendations were made.
We're going to expand the sheep production, almost double that within a year. We'll do the same for cows because the potential is there. We would introduce apiculture because the biodiversity in that area is awesome. And we would need the bees to help with the production. We have bees so that we can have pollination going on without a problem. Because we intend to introduce at least about 50 different types of fruit crops so that fruits would never be a problem anymore at the prison. And what they cannot consume, they will send to other locations.
These interventions, along with the introduction of crops such as provisions and vegetables, will see the creation of an integrated farming system being realized. The prison's farms are located at Mazaruni, Temeri, Lusignan, and New Amsterdam.
We have come to the end of the government news brief for Tuesday, March 1, 2016. We are reminding you that this is a photograph taken during the independence activities. If you recognize yourself in this photograph, please give us a call on 226-6715 or 225-3119. We would certainly like to speak with you. Remember, the government news brief along with all other GINA programs can be found on our website. We're also on Facebook and YouTube. On behalf of all of us here at GINA, thank you for watching.